look at me with an uninterrupted flow. Like, that's all I want. This was just a setup to let my guard down. I'm brown, I guess.
Do you just want to start by saying who you are and what you do?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Rohini. I am a part-time comedian. And mostly I just like work in tech. I play pickleball. I have 2 cats. This is an identity crisis. I don't know where this is going. I'm brown, I guess. I'm queer.
I have so many questions.
I'm an immigrant. I think that about captures it.
Okay, that's the yeah.
It's the whole spiel.
Why do you feel like part-time comedian?
Because I'm not like full-time committed to it. Like a lot of people are. Like I think that so many comedians in Seattle that I know are full-time comedians, and I'm not. Like that's not my main source of income.
Okay, so it's more of an income thing, or like because when you say you're not fully committed, I'm like, are you like 1 foot out of stand-up, or are you just like?
Wow, going for the jugular.
No, it's just like, you know what I mean? Where I'm like part-time, like committed to the art or.
Wow, I didn't realize I used the word committed, but that might have been a Freudian slip. I think you are onto something. I do a lot of times feel like I have 1 foot out. Because it's also, I feel a lot of pressure when I'm about to go on stage.
Okay.
Like the first thought that comes to me when I get booked on something is like another opportunity to fail.
Really?
Yes. And
that's so crazy.
I know.
Why is it just? It's always been that way, or is that like a shift?
I think it's like it used to be really bad in the beginning, and then it's gotten like much better. So these days the voice is about like 1%, I would say. But then it's always like, where is this going? Because there's no like ladder, like a clear definite ladder in a way that corporate America has, you know, like you have your set list of like, do this, you get promoted, do this, you get promoted, or like even in life, like do this, get a girlfriend, do this, then you lock it down, get engaged, blah blah blah, get 2 cats, whatever. But there's no ladder, there's no like
and that's like, I've talked about it before on the podcast. It's like, that's why I use projects. Like I need projects from beginning to end to finish, or else like I quickly get into that headspace of like, what is this? Am I getting better at it, or am I getting, you know, and like my first year living in New York, I was like so lost that I was like, am I getting worse at stand up? Like, and I think I kind of was.
No, what made you feel like what would you use to see markers for progress, or how you would do it?
It's always been projects, like where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get a new hour of material, and then like working towards that new hour, or a new 10 or a new 30, or like as small as like, let me work on getting the best tape possible for a 5-minute to send to bookers. Like I need those little things, and as the moment I stop having those is I get really in my head about like, you know, how long I've been doing stand-up, and does that equal to my talent or my skills or my, and I've gotten better over the years of like not comparing. Right. So it's not always like comparing, but it is kind of like you're saying, like it is this like
expectation
and just like this like vast space of just like, you can do anything with stand-up, and that's kind of crippling.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Not to shoehorn this in, but like
all right.
When me and Jenna put together our show Kitten Around, which is like a pet themed comedy show, there were moments where it was very easy to get a laugh. Like, and there was a moment where I was like, as a producer, I love this. As a creator, I love this. But like, there's a non-pet part of my stand-up, which I've had to work 10 times harder for. What the fuck does this mean?
Yeah.
So, like you said, it's such a vast art form, and everybody's doing so many different things that it becomes really quick and easy to compare yourself, and like easy to like beat yourself up for.
Yeah. And it's in like, the longer I'm in stand-up, the more I recognize that like, you're going to meet people that are like 30 years in and they're like at a certain level, and then you're going to meet other people that are like 2 years in and they had like a video blow up and now they're like touring the country.
Matt Rife.
Yeah. Like you're going to meet these people of all shapes and sizes, and it's like, you just don't know, as long as like you're enjoying the time in it, you know?
Yeah.
So
we've cracked it. That's it. You just have to enjoy things and make projects. That's it. Okay. Don't think of it as marriage. Think of it as a 7-year project. You're going to have so much fun on this project. I think you might be onto something with that, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah. You should write a book.
I should?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I mean, so you've been feeling lost lately, or is it? Is that too deep? I can cut it out.
First, it was like, how do you identify? Second, why are you half committed? Then it's like, why are you lost? This was just a setup to let my guard down.
I'm just listening.
White comedian rips into brown lesbian.
Comedian Zack Lyman roast.
Oh my god. Well, actually, that's a timely question, I think, because a lot of what we just discussed goes into that. I think the fabric of like, this is what my life should look like by this age, this age, this age. I hit all the markers. I was very successful. I think 2023 I peaked, and then it all came crashing down.
Really?
Yeah, like I don't want to go too much into the details of it, but it was just spiraling out of my control. And that's been a moment for me to be like, wow, you really actually have no control in life, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, like what are you going to do with what you've been given in a kind of a way? So even like comedy, even in life, like even if there is a ladder, even if there are like a series of expectations, you will sometimes go off the rails. And you have no clue what's happening. And then, you know, you just have to make a project and then stick to a project and be like, today, the project is today. I have to get through today.
Yeah. Truly though.
Yeah. So a year is just like 365 projects.
That's it. You just got to write that down.
Yeah, truly. So I think that's that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like, how long have you been doing stand-up now?
It's been, let me see. I think I took a workshop 2021 fall. So 2022, I still have the like poster from the first gig that I got booked. Like I got paid by Stephanie Nam. She used to be a huge comedian in Seattle. And then she, I think, moved back to Las Vegas now. But so it's been like, what, 3.5 years, I guess?
Wow. Yeah.
2, 3, 4. Yeah.
That's, and also it's like, you know, since 2020, things are just like kind of weird, you know, with comedy. And so it's like figuring out years can be strange.
So I've heard people say that, like how things were so different from pre-pandemic, and I have no idea. So what was it like? Like, were you doing comedy pre-pandemic?
Yeah. So I was doing a lot of comedy, and it's different, but it's just like every state has just had to like restart in some way, you know, like from like a lot of people that used to run shows are like, I'm tired, you know, so they like didn't come back to running shows or, you know, all that kind of shift. And I know like, obviously I didn't live in Seattle, but I know that Seattle had a lot of shift and things like that. But yeah, it's so funny to like realize that you're like 3 years in, but then like we did a winery show and you like crushed so hard. Like the whole audience was like, more.
I don't think we saw the same thing, Zach. I don't know what you saw from where you were sitting. Yeah. But I think for me, I saw like faces that were pleasant. That were faces just that were pleasant. Like, you know, when someone's disinterested, checked out. Yeah. Like at a comedy show. There are, okay, now we're getting into a whole thing, right? Because I've been doing comedy for whatever long. Yeah. And I've created like a list of super disinterested to super interested. Okay. And super disinterested is like, they just get up and walk out. Like, this is not for me. Okay. I'm done. And on the super interested side, you have people who are very excitedly interrupting you in between every joke. And you're like, I love this energy, but shut the fuck up. And then on the disinterested side, you have people who are not bold enough to leave, but they're checked out on their phone.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
or who are like talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then people who are like eating, maybe paying attention to you every 30 seconds. So when I perform, I try to keep the audience on the interested side. Like, I don't need a smile, okay? Just look at me.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me with an uninterrupted flow. Like, that's all I want. I don't need your clapter or none of it.
Yeah.
Because then every show I try to see how many more did I switch from like red to green.
Interesting. That's a very different way to look at it.
Yeah, because then there are, like, I can think of it like my comedy is insular. I'm not going to change. You know, it's going to hit for 3 people and that's it, which is great.
Yeah.
But I'm currently trying to explore the, like, I present in a very specific way. Like, I have this haircut. I, like, look super brown and I have an accent. So as soon as I open my mouth and people look at me, they're going to have, like, a list of preconceived notions. And so I'm like, how can I convince them to find me funny?
Yeah.
How can I, like, connect with them? You know? So Woodinville, for example, I knew going in, like, it was a lot of older, maybe majority white demographic.
Yeah.
So that was a project for me. Like, what do I do in my list of jokes? How can I make this more accessible to them?
Yeah. And they loved you.
Aww.
So they were like so on board. I really want to drive home the fact of, like, you were doing your set, and not only were you just a pro on the show, but like the reason I say you did so well and I wanted more was because you were very, like, almost, it felt conversational, right? It felt very like you were present, you were there with them, you're having a good time. If I remember right, you were, like, asking them some questions and just kind of, like, getting involved, and all these, like, markers that you did to, like, really get them on board with you and your jokes. And I'm, like, the same way, right? Where it's like, I have my material and it's like, I've never been a comedian that's like, oh, this type of audience, I can do this other material. No, I just have I have my weird comedy, and they're either on board with
the sock drawer.
They're either on board or they're not. And I'm like, well,
no. I mean, you also can't completely change yourself for the other person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to stay true to yourself quite a bit as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And you kind of briefly mentioned it, but, like, how did Kitten Around start? And then, like, what is that?
What is that? So it's a very broad strokes pet themed comedy show, and we've relaxed the word pet to include wild animals as well. Okay. As long as it's like Kingdom Animalia, we will allow it on the show. Okay. So it began, I don't know when it began, like last year, I think, where I was like, hey, why don't people do pet related shows? Because there's more pets than kids in Seattle. There's more dogs than kids in Seattle. So this
is that, like, a real number?
No, yeah, that's true. Look it up.
Okay. As, like, my neighbors are, like, going wild outside. As I can hear them with their their kids. Okay. For
every toddler, there's a traumatized pit bull that you cannot see. I was like, I just put in my shift, man. Like, parents better come get this child. I might, run away or something. But so yeah, and then Jenna and I put together the theme for the show and, like, the real structure and, like, the skeleton behind it. Yeah. And then Jenna has this, like, amazing idea for, like, how can we design this, and she puts us in touch with, like, the designer, and then we book out, like, a solid lineup for our first show. We co-host the show, we, like, book a venue, and all our friends said, like, you're gonna sell out, but the part of your brain that's just like, I don't know how it's gonna go. Yeah. We were Delta Airlines. Okay, we had, like, a capacity for 70. I think we sold, like, 10 over or something. Whoa. Yeah. So I was, like, pleasantly surprised, and then we went from Rendezvous to Hereafter, bigger venue. We sold out there as well. Whoa. So then we were like, what the hell is happening? Then we performed at West City Comedy Festival at the start of this year, and then we're going to perform at Bumbershoot. So, yeah, I think there aren't any shows other than the Kitten Around that focus on like pet-based comedy.
That's so fun.
Yeah, and to be honest, comedy shows can be like a hit or miss, which is what I've heard from my friends. Like, you never know when you're gonna see like a white guy talk about like my girlfriend or like my wife, you know?
Right.
So this is like clean comedy, innocent comedy, relatable comedy, like all ages, genders, and ethnicities can enjoy. So I think like the idea just like sells itself. And also our poster was such a banger poster that immediately just like grabbed people's attention. So that's the show basically.
I love it. Yeah, I can't wait to like see it in person.
Yeah, no, come. It'll be so much fun.
Yeah, when's the next one that you have?
So the next one, it's on Bumbershoot. So last year Bumbershoot had a comedy tent, and this year they're dedicating SIF Uptown for the comedy coupe.
Okay.
Is what they're calling it. They're gonna have not just Kitten Around, but like a variety of local showcases that you might have seen.
Yeah.
So they'll all be performing on August 30th and 31st, and Kitten Around will be there on both days.
Oh, nice. So you get 2 time slots, so one for each day. Do you know what time they are or no?
Not yet. I think I have to look into it, but it's likely around the late afternoon is what we've heard. It's going to be like a 1 hour slot. I think all the shows are kind of packed tightly, 1 hour back to back.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so and then I'll put all the ticket links in the show description so people can go check it out.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Have you been to Bumbershoot before?
No, I don't really know anything about Bumbershoot.
It's mostly like a music related festival, but they also have like a lot of non-music entertainment, so you should definitely come check it out. There's like a cat circus. There was like a stripper pole last year. That did really well. We were located right next to it, and we would hear the applause coming from it, and like, guys, they're crushing harder than us. Come on. Be funnier.
That's really funny.
Wait, quick, take off your clothes. Take off.
You're like restructuring the show. You're like, all right, we gotta
shake some ass. But I wanted to ask you a question. This is something.
Whoa. Should we switch seats?
This is like one question.
Oh, okay.
I'm so curious about comedians who've been doing comedy for a while. It's like, has your experience like absorbing or listening to comedy specials or comedy shows changed at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So like, I'm kind of in a weird phase right now that I haven't openly talked about this.
Ooh, for scoop.
Hot dish. I don't really watch stand up at home like I used to. And I think like there's a big shift with that of when I was younger in comedy, I couldn't get enough of it. I couldn't get like, I would just be intaking stand up and that's it. And as I kind of entered my 30s, I made like this like life shift of like picking up other hobbies, doing other things with my life. And I feel like all of my 20s, any free moment was like to be a better comedian or to go watch comedy or watching, like just so in comedy. So it's changed. And some of that is like, I think also just like, I'm also doing a lot more shows now. Yeah. So it's like I'm intaking a lot of different kinds of comedy all the time, but I'm not really watching it at home. So it's all shifted for me. And I'm in a weird phase of recognizing that I don't need to watch stand-up 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Even though it's like there's more specials out than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what about you? Has there been like a shift?
Yeah, definitely. I think very similar to yours. 2 things. One is like it starts to feel like work.
Yeah.
And second is I just see competition. Like if someone is crushing, I'm just like, haha, that was funny. And they keep crushing. I'm like, you can stop now. And they crush hard. I'm like, fucking hell. I'm angry.
Really?
No, not like really. But there's a part of me that's just like, why can't you do that? Huh? Why can't you? But
yeah,
it's like a learning curve for sure. So it's hard to separate yourself as a comedian and yourself as a consumer of comedy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, and even now where it's like I can go back and watch specials that I've watched a billion times, but now that I've been doing comedy much, much longer, I can see the nervous tick or like where they're like stumbling more than they probably planned or whatever. And like a younger me thought it was like a perfect special, that there was nothing wrong with it. You know, so it's like you're kind of like picking up on these small cues more.
Right.
But yeah, I've always had that thought that you're having of like my comedy. I think my comedy is a little bit now like obtainable for everyone. Like everyone can kind of get on board more than it used to be. And so when it used to be really weird and niche, it was like I would watch someone go up and crush, and then I'm like, anyways, here's my weird thing, and they're like, ooh, you know, like, and I'm like, why can't I do that? Why can't I also make them all laugh? You know, like,
what's a weird niche joke from your early days? I want to hear
it. Like something that people that I did for a long time was like an impression of a Nissan Altima CD changer.
Okay, I need to hear it.
No, I can't do it. No, I can't. I literally, it involves rolling around on the ground and making a lot of different noises, and it's like a whole thing.
Can you do any of it, or like no?
No, I can't do it. There's clips online, but I of it, but like it's just like that it would go on for way too long, or just like weird impressions of things, like. Yeah.
I'm so intrigued. I want to go look it up.
It's just like, I don't know. It's like I still have those ideas from time to time, and I like bringing those weird, but it's like so often now it's like I try to plug those into stories more than just like, here's a weird bit, and anyways, now here's a different weird bit.
You know, I think that there is a market for that. Like, especially in Seattle, I've seen so many more variety shows come up recently that I have seen people go alt comedy that I haven't seen before. And it's like Gen Z has such a weird sense of humor that it's like, I bet your Nissan Altima joke would crush if you like brought it back.
Yeah. It's like, you know, I have a lot of like those weird, it's like, this is how my brain is. And figuring it out. And that's also why I've never done good in like writing sessions with people where I'm like, I'm thinking about doing this like Nissan Altima CD changer and rolling around on the ground, and then their notes are like, I don't know.
I don't get this.
I don't think it's a finished idea.
Yeah.
Like, no, I feel like it's done.
Oh man, I feel like you need younger comedian friends to gas you up and be like, hell yeah, where's that whip going?
I don't know, man, you try it out. Well, do you have like goals for the year for comedy?
Oh man,
am I asking all the wrong questions?
No,
I'm so sorry.
Great. No, this is great. I missed a therapy sessions. I feel like you can now.
Just making it up.
Making it up. What are my goals? I don't have any goals, to be honest. I think that I'm going to think about my goals after this conversation.
Okay. Are you a vision board person?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because I don't really plan things.
All right.
Yeah, like there are so many things I haven't done because I hate the planning aspect of it. Like going on vacation or whatever. I'll just be like, who's gonna do that? I'm just gonna rot in bed instead. You
just don't like the logistics of it?
Yeah, I hate logistics. I hate everything about it. But
okay.
So one goal I do have is like maybe review some of my tapes and like actually find a good recent tape and apply it to festivals on time and not miss deadlines.
That's a hard one though, because like they're all over the place and deadlines are you know, and some of them are at $90 and you're like, what is this?
Who is charging $90? Name
I'm
them.
Probably exaggerating.
Name and shame
I'm
them.
exaggerating. But like sometimes they are like 30,
like 45.
40. Yeah,
I'm just like,
easily.
what the fuck? Give me a mug or something, you know?
Yeah. Give me something.
Yeah.
A mug.
Yeah. Give me a mug. Give me a notepad.
It just says I applied.
I applied. And I did not get in.
Yeah, I always just like to kind of like end with like goals, and like I am a vision board person, and I have a vision board party. I try to every year. I would love for you to come to the next one. Yeah.
How many have you made? so far?
Oh, I don't know. How many? I have no idea.
You've lost count? Like, that's how
like
many?
Maybe like 10?
Holy shit. Are you like secretly queer? Is that
No.
No.
Sorry. I'm just boring.
No, vision boards are awesome. That's great. So what was in your latest vision board?
I'm reviewing it right now because I'm like,
we're like halfway
through. Yeah, we're halfway through the year. How far?
I love that. Accountability. Like, you're actually
trying to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like off the top of my head, there was definitely like some basic stuff on there, like travel, and I'm like,
no,
done.
That's great. Yeah.
And then there was like there was one on there that I was like, oh, I actually did do that. It was just like trying to be less critical on myself, and also like I think that also expands out to like this year I've talked about it a lot in the podcast, is like I'm like recovering from being a people pleaser. I'm like really hard on myself, and then sometimes I like have in the past like applied that to other, like holding other people to a standard because like I'm holding myself to an unreasonable standard. And so like on my vision board was just to be more like I can't remember what it was I cut out, but it was like something along the lines of just like being more like forgiving and more just like in the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely like that has been on there. And then I wanted to work on like documentaries, and that I've been working on. So that was like another like on there. So
you're making a documentary?
Yeah, I'm making a couple documentaries right now.
What about?
Well, Cam and I are working on a documentary about coffee.
Coffee?
Yeah. And so we've been visiting a lot of coffee shops and just filming about that. Yeah. And yeah, so I'm just like, some of those projects I'm just trying to like do outside of, stand up. But yeah, so I'm just reviewing it at this point and seeing if I'm on task with my vision board. But,
yeah.
You
have like so much going on. You're like a true artist.
You're too kind.
No, I just really like how your like outlook, like making projects, making vision boards, holding yourself accountable, making like podcasts. I mean, I hope the best for you. I think like you're working so hard that it's just a matter of time.
You're too kind.
Yeah. How was the special that you filmed? And
it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turned out really good. I'm in the process of editing it. I'm in the early stages, and it's just a lot of. We used 5 cameras, so it's a lot of a lot of camera angles. And back and forth and editing and stuff. So I avoided it for a while after I filmed it. I just like didn't want to see it. I was just like, I can't look at it right now.
Was there like a secret camera in the audience getting their authentic reactions?
No. Josh that like helped me film it, he was like, yeah, you want one on the audience? I was like, I don't want to see. I don't want that. No. We just had like all the different, like the left side, right side, and then like in the middle, and then also we had like a roaming camera where someone that just would come by and do those like smooth slide shots. Yeah. So it's like the first time I'm like using that in an edit, but
you went all out.
Yeah.
Are you a self-taught artist? Like, did you pick up all of this on your own?
Yeah. Just like working with other people and working on projects and like making video stuff since I was like in high school. Whoa. And then just over time gotten better with it.
A very maybe an odd place to say this, but as an immigrant, this is something like I really value about American culture, is like how enterprising everyone is. Like that's the fundamental value you are encouraged to have as when you're growing up.
Yeah.
Is like to think for yourself and have your own thoughts and like start something, which growing up like we didn't have a lot of that. It was very much like everything is standardized. You score high on tests, you get a certain job, and then you're set for life. Like you get money, and then you all sort of follow a pattern. Like you get a partner, you get a car, you get an apartment, blah, blah, and that's it, right? So many of my friends and me, like we struggle when we came here to this country to even like think about, how do I go about booking a doctor's appointment? Or like, how do I do this? Or how do I do that? And looking back at it, I was like, I can distinctly see how my American counterparts are reacting very differently. And so when I started doing comedy, for me, it was like such a big, oh my God, I'm doing something that's like a paradigm shift away that I never thought I was going to do.
Interesting.
And so I'm just like really impressed, is the bottom line of like all the different things that you are doing. And like,
you're too kind.
I mean,
you're so kind.
I just mean it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I don't know. It's like with stand-up, it's just such like a, I hate to say it, it's like such a business, you know, and you are the business. Mm-hmm. And then it's like you're forced to learn cameras and sound and what, you know, like, even like that winery we did where it's like they were having sound issues when we got there, you know, and it's like, now I have to be a pro at a mixing board.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
And it's like, oh, I just want to tell the jokes.
I know. You learn out of necessity.
Yeah. Okay. We are out of time. Where can people find you online?
So this is the awkward part where I tell you my Instagram. It's called Boop My Boob.
Okay.
Boop, BOOP .my.boob, BOOB.
Okay.
That is it. My full length sets are on YouTube. First name, last name comedy. Rohini Jayanti comedy. Yeah.
Okay. And you would say, like, do you feel like you spend most of your time on Instagram or YouTube?
Honestly, I am barely alive on both of them, to be honest. That's why I was like, I have my one foot out. I'm like kind of dormant. I'm not committed. I have no goals. I'm just, this is a bad ending for a podcast.
Why? Because I think it's so relatable. I think a lot of people feel that way.
But the goal is to post more content on my Instagram. And if you want to see where I'm performing next, or if you want to stay tuned for comedy, then reach out to me or find me on Instagram.
Yes, I highly suggest following on Instagram and going to a live show, because you are very funny. You're very talented.
Thank you.
And more people need to come out and see that.
Aw, thank you. And also follow Zack on all his adventures. Where can people find you, Zack?
Oh, they don't. It'll be in the show notes.
It'll be in the show notes.
They don't need to.
Okay. All right. Well, this was a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, it was great talking to you. Thank you so much for doing this. I really mean it. Thank you.
Aw, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And I've been your host, Zack Lyman. This has been Zack Lyman Podcast. Outro music.